A year from now, US debt's going to be over $40 trillion. It just gets out of control. Bitcoin's going to continue to decouple from the market. Whatever this next black swan event is, I think that Bitcoin's going to act in a way that people don't expect, just like it did in Silicon Valley meltdown. But the response will be violent from the Fed. So it'll be very difficult to time. And I do think that we're going to find all-time highs here this year, and you're going to have people who wish they had bought the dip.
You opted out of the broken financial system by adopting Bitcoin and taking self-custody of your money. But protecting your wealth is only part of the equation. Now it's time to protect your freedom. My family is stacking sats and stacking flags. A second passport is our hedge against government overreach and uncertainty. If you're a Bitcoiner looking for your exit strategy, our friends at CitizenX will help you secure second citizenship through investment or descent. Book your free call today by hitting the link in the show notes or simply scanning the QR code on the screen. Let me break this down for my fellow Bitcoiners. In just 8 weeks, I've seen a serious shift. More strength, more energy, and fast muscle gains. The reason? FITSCRIPT. They ran 124 biomarkers, blood, hormones, inflammation, and built a fully custom plan, nutrition, training, supplements. No guesswork, no templates. This is functional medicine meets precision fitness for high-performing men who want sovereignty over their health. If you care about optimization the way you care about your money, test, don't guess. Don't trust, verify. Hit the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen to check out FITSCRIPT and see what's possible. How do they continue to gaslight like this? Again, the attitude of everything's, how long can this possibly go on where they say the average American consumer is doing fine when in reality it's the people owning the assets? Everybody knows and feels like I go to the grocery store, I can't put healthy food on the table anymore. I'm cutting here, there, and everywhere. No more vacations. And the younger generation is like, I'm never going to own a home or retire.
Well, it's easier to do. This is what they don't want is a revolt where prices start spiking again. And it's easy to do when people are just getting clipped for 2-3%. You don't really, it's the boiling frog thing, right? But you've lost 25% of your purchasing power since 2020. And people feel that. And they would rather have easy liquidity, lower interest rates, because for them, lower interest rates helps lower the credit card rates. It helps lower the mortgage rates. It makes it a little bit easier for them. But and as long as it just doesn't start driving up inflation, it's better, and they know that. And so that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make sure that they keep the economy out of recession, because if they have to print again, it's going to be twice as bad. So yeah, they're in a tough spot. And what's so frustrating about it is they know damn well that they're the ones behind it, manipulating the money and causing this separation of wealth, and that's just reality.
The one thing I'm going to say really quick too, this is what's really wild is I'm reading a book right now. It's called You Are the Mountain. I forget what it's called. I think I have it right here. Actually. The Mountain is You. And again, it's about, taking personal trauma out of your life in essence and just becoming a better person, right? Jim Rohn, Bob Proctor, the personal development people of the world. And after 15, 20 years of just studying money and myself, a lot of this is just mental, right? Like you could give a lot of people Bitcoin or you could do a lot of these things, but until someone's like ready to understand it, it's like giving someone who doesn't understand money at all, how to budget and how to take care of things, they're going to go to the casino and blow it anyway. Like a lot of this is just such a mental game. The numbers are numbers, and you look at like Bitcoin is objectively better than everything else out there, bar none. But why after 16 years, and again, that's a short amount of time. We have a lot of adoption in 16 years, so I don't want to discount that. But why with social media, the world is its oyster? Like how is it not all 8 billion people on Bitcoin yet? Well, the pain to change, it has to be less than what you're doing now. And like James just said, like if you're it's like 1%, 2% frog in the boiling pot, people are like, whatever. Like it's okay. It's not a big deal. And I think the other big thing that we discount, Bitcoiners, you know, a lot of us, is the social impact. Like, this printing will continue going on until it absolutely implodes on itself, because the social impact, you look at like the Great Depression, a lot of people didn't even know what the hell was going on. Like, you didn't know like what your neighbors on your own street, maybe you knew what was going on, right? But you didn't know what was going on in the world. So like the keeping up with the Jones aspect is amplified to a degree that we have never in human history seen before. So whether it's student loans or, you know, someone buying something in the grocery store and you can't afford it, you have this like aura of like, I can't be shown or be, you know, I can't be seen as lesser than. And so you're going to have this world where the social impact is greater and the emotional charge is greater than like the actual logic of what's happening. So they will, not only will they have to print as James just outlined, just monetarily, but the social impact, I think, is far amplified, or, you know, exponentially greater than anything else we could ever imagine. And like, you just look at like how the exception is the rule in society today, where like a 0.1% of society, we govern off of that basis. So if this group is hurting or that group's hurting, we just take everything and say, okay, throw it at that person or throw it at that group. Well, what's the next group that's going to hurt? What's if it's 20% of society or 30 or 40% of society? That's going to continue expanding to going back to this whole thing of it's going to be 10, 15, 20 trillion next time. Maybe it's 30 trillion. It's going to be 50 trillion eventually. They're going to have to. So this drain keeps getting faster and faster and faster until it just flies apart at some point. And I don't know when that is. I was trying to ask James the other day, right? None of us know. I mean, that's the part we don't know when this absolutely flies apart. But I will say the social impact, I think, is the thing that no one talks about really. And it cannot go down for that fact alone. They will print it into oblivion because socially we are so connected that you can't be seen as, oh, I'm losing in life, right? The Instagram culture and this and that. I'm showing how great my life is. I mean, can you imagine if 10% or 20 or 30% or 40% of society is all of a sudden losing everything? It won't happen. They'll just print it into oblivion and it'll blow apart.
In the context of what you're saying, you know, around, they're going to need 10, 15, 20 trillion. I mean, it is crazy looking back and thinking that during the great financial crisis, the mind-blowing numbers that were being printed then were in the hundreds of billions. If I heard that number today, you'd laugh at it. I don't blink. Now when I see multiple trillions, like when they announced, oh, the deficit is going to be an additional 5 trillion, it was kind of like, well, I mean, yeah, you're clearly blowing a ton of money, but I don't think I would really blink until I saw like a double-digit trillion at this point, because you become desensitized to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're totally desensitized to it. We have, this year alone, we had the Doge Commission that was supposed to be cutting costs, getting us to a budget, wiping out the budget deficit, and getting us to a surplus. That was, you know, that was the goal, the aim. I mean, you guys, we have added $1.4 trillion to the debt since January. $1.4 trillion. Just think about that for a second. Okay. So we had a budget agreement and took off the debt limit, and boom, went right back up to 30. Now we're at $37.5 trillion. Okay. So who cares? Well, it just means that they have to manage this by having greater GDP nominally, meaning they have to have more liquidity, more money in the system to tax more to keep up with this, because the interest payments alone on this are over $1 trillion a year now. Okay, so that's bigger than every other line item but Social Security. So they literally cannot have a market collapse or an economic collapse without knowing they're going to print massive amounts of money. Why? It's simple. You take in $5 trillion of taxes. Okay, you're spending $7 trillion. And the vast majority of that is mandatory expenses. You could take, $900 billion off the deck if you cut every single discretionary program, but they're not going to do that. So you've got a $2 trillion deficit. What do you think it happens if Powell drives this thing into the gutter? If he drives the economy into a recession? Well, you have somewhere around a 10 or 12% rise in your mandatory expenses because of social security, the social expenses like unemployment and all that stuff. And then you've got a drop of 10 or 12% in your in your income side of things because of taxes going down, and there's less GDP, lower GDP, so you're talking about at best 10% on each side, which is another $700 billion of spending, and then you're losing $500 billion of or half a trillion, $700 billion, $500 billion of income you're taking out because of the loss of income. I mean, you're talking about adding another $1 to $2 trillion on top of the current $2 trillion deficit. It just gets out of control. And that's if we have just a normal recession. If we have a massive one, those numbers could be like $4 or $5 trillion of budget deficit. I mean, they can't have it. And so that's why you're seeing them act like this. They're like, yeah, we've got stagflation, but I mean, reality, by lowering the interest rates, allowing the economy to continue to run and avoiding that downturn. Yeah, we may have higher inflation, but that helps our debt. Yeah, it may hurt the middle and lower class a little bit, but it helps our debt. I mean, that's just reality. So it's a better outcome for them to keep that fire hose going. So I think if you just look at a big lens, I think a year from now, U.S. debt's going to be over $40 trillion. We're going to be running deficits that are even larger than now, regardless of the lower interest rates. And I think that Bitcoin's going to continue to decouple from the market and not be correlated to anything. And that's going to be, to me, a really big story. And the reason will come out from whatever this next black swan event is. I've been doing this for so long that I've seen like 700-year events in my 30-year career. They seem to come every 5 to 7 years now. It's crazy. And so the next time we have another 100-year event, I think that Bitcoin's going to act in a way that people don't expect, just like it did in Silicon Valley meltdown. And so that decoupling is going to be important. And I do think that we're going to find all-time highs here this year. And you're going to have people who wish they had bought the dip. Now, that's 1 year from now. It's a long time for Bitcoin. And you could easily have a market drawdown where everything correlates to one, but the response will be violent from the Fed. And they will come at the market with an absolute money bazooka. And so it'll be very difficult to time. So that's what I expect on the other side of anything. So, but that's just kind of my base case.
Hey, you. Yes, you watching the Bitcoin price movements and the latest exciting news. It's awesome to stay informed, but the real power of Bitcoin comes from taking control. Don't just watch, take action. Head over to btcsessions.ca/learn for free step-by-step tutorials that guide you through every major skill you need to know, plus full video playlists for deeper dives on any topic you like. And if you're ready for the ultimate fast track, scroll to the bottom and check out bitcoinmentor.io for premium one-on-one experience with my team of Bitcoin experts to ensure you get it right the first time. Don't wait. Secure your Bitcoin future today. Hit the link in the show notes or scan the QR code on the screen.